Matter. Edward, host. We're live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your community radio station. You can also listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and of course the Rainier Avenue Radio App. We feature interviews with people that provide services or have valuable information for seniors, their families, and the community. Do you need financial documents notarized? Are you a person that needs documents read to you for clarity or completion? Just give me a call at Black Orchid Notary 206-683-2636. Tell me where, I'll meet you there. Well, my guest today is the illustrious John Yasutake, host of that award-winning show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Welcome to the show, Mr. Yasutake. How are you?
Yes, I am. Oh, look at that. Look at that logo, too.
Ooh.
Thank you very much, Brenda. I really appreciate the fact that I get to guest on your second radio show because, of course, mine is the first radio show, the award-winning Seattle Here and Now, which airs every Thursday live, 6 to 7 on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Be there or be square. Hey, no, but in all seriousness, the subject matter we're going to talk about, like we had prepped for this, is serious. And the thing, and we've talked about this in the past at different shows, but every time I do the research and you do the research, it gets more frightening. And it just seems like it just is out of hand. And what we're talking about is elder abuse, the abuse of seniors. And Brenda and I, and thank you very much, Brenda, for inviting me. I have been involved with that because of the fact that there's a number of agencies. DSHS has a program and an office that deals with vulnerable populations, seniors, persons with disabilities, and the level of abuse. And they have investigators. And I got interested in that and I applied. So I don't know, I haven't heard anything yet, but it would be great. But those are the kinds of things that the state is looking at. And when you talk about elder abuse, I mean, we're talking about more than just one aspect of it. When I did the research, and it was categorized by, like these 7 items: physical abuse, sexual abuse, medical or physical neglect. And I said, what that, verbal and psychological abuse, exploitation, and financial fraud. And when you start looking at all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories of things, it's overwhelming. And that's why I really appreciate your asking me to come on the show because, Seniors Matter is you do a great job, Brenda, really, in all seriousness. You do a really a great job of talking about things, programs for seniors, issues involving seniors. But one of the major themes and issues that we have to deal with as a country is abuse of elders, seniors.
And John, there's one more to add to that list, and that's neglect and abandonment.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's
7.
crucial.
That makes 7. Yep. And so what I thought I'd do, and we don't have, and Brenda, thank you very much again for inviting me. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I didn't want to take the time up on. We could spend hours on just one category: physical abuse.
I know this is true.
We do sexual abuse, all these things. But I'm just going to kind of delve into it as we go along. So without further ado, I'm going to go talk about. When we talk about physical abuse, that's pretty definitive, self-definitive. Individuals are being abused physically and, being hit, being struck, by objects or whatever.
Family members.
Yep.
As well as being in a nursing home or in a care facility. John, I just want to jump in and talk about one personal, when we talk about the financial, I had a personal experience with it, although it wasn't me directly, but it was a relative of mine. And another relative of hers, her husband's niece, um, came to help her because she was going into hospital and she was going to have surgery. In fact, she had part of a leg amputated because of diabetes. And while she was in the hospital recuperating, and this cousin took the equity out of her house. And so illegally, because she didn't have right to do it. Although I do think that she did get a power of attorney for that short time period. But anyway, she took the equity out of the house and then she left. So that left my mom and the other sister to come up with the money to save the house. And, you know, and it was like, that was probably really my first experience with when they were talking about elder abuse a long time ago. And I'd heard stories, but I'd never been up and close and personal with it. And it was just like really traumatic. And I felt so bad for my aunt because she was well, mom had four other sisters, and they were all good to me, and they all held a special place in my life and my heart. And to see this happen, I was like, well, dang, couldn't find her because I was looking for her. But I think she went back to California, and then she just kind of disappeared from where the rest of us couldn't reach her.
Wow. And that's the thing that just floored me when I did the research a couple of years ago when we did our first show talking about it, that a significant number of these incidents are occurring because of family members. Family members are involved in committing these acts, whether it be physical abuse, sexual abuse, medical neglect, abandonment, exploitation, financial fraud, on and on. I mean, family members, you say to yourself, what? And that is a fact, unfortunately. And when you look at the data, now this is only what gets reported. They estimate 5, maybe 10 million individuals fitting in that category of seniors and elders are being abused, are being taken advantage of, etc., in a year's period of time. And they're saying maybe 1 out of 10, and they're thinking more like 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 6.
Right.
And I mean, the data varies because it's what's being reported. And one of the problems with when you deal with seniors, they're not into technology. They're not into sending messages via email or smartphones or whatever. And so it's really a damned if you do and damned if you don't kind of, or not even that. It's a catch-22, the term catch-22. And then if you're relying on a family member to take care of you and they're abusing you, do you turn them in? Then what happens to you? Who takes care of you? The catch-22. And so this is a really, really significant aspect of what's going on with our senior population. And face it, the senior population is growing older and larger only because of health and medical issues and advancements that people are living longer, and that's a fact.
Right.
And so, and again, you couple that with family members taking advantage of them, companies taking advantage of them, illicit companies, people that are out there, I mean, paying for house repairs that never happen, oh, your roof is leak, roof is bad, and they bring you some hokied up sample, and you're not going to climb up. You're 76 years old like me. I'm not going to climb up on a ladder and look. You're going to take, and then that kind of stuff. So you got all of that going on, but you got, like I said, physical abuse. One of the things that I tell people is check your family member. Check them for scratches, cuts, bruises, anything, and especially if they're wearing,
long sleeves, turtlenecks.
And long sleeve, and it's in the dead of summer. You know that something's going on, and always check the references of people that are working to work with your loved one, your elder loved one. I mean, they have to have references. They have to be bonded and like all that kind of stuff. And those are just simple things you need to do. But the other thing, the bottom line is check on your family member.
Right.
You have to do that. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's the thing. And you may have to do it when that other person, that service provider, isn't there. Because again, remember, the data that we get is only what's being reported. Only what's
Yeah.
being reported. And we know that that is only a tip of the iceberg. So anyway, so then we talk about physical abuse. That's pretty self-explanatory. Sexual abuse, that's a little bit harder. That's a
Yeah.
little bit harder. But you'll notice, and I think one of the things they say is look at how the person reacts when that other person's around.
If they're nervous or
Yeah,
don't want to look at them.
and don't want to talk about it, anything. Again, you have to be, and you have to meet with that family member of yours. That, oh, you mean, in other words, pay a visit. Also, pay a visit unannounced.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And catch them, things like that. People are going to do things when they know they can get away with it. And
Right.
that's not to impugn the people who do this in this industry. So many of them are very good. So many of them do an excellent job of taking care of our elders.
Right.
But there are those that aren't. And so we got to be careful with that. The issue of medical or physical neglect, and I said, well, what does that mean? Well, it's as simple as, Brenda, you have a prescription, but guess what? I'm going to withhold getting that prescription refill for you because I'm going to make you do something more favorable for me. In other words, I need money. If you want me to fulfill your prescription, etc., it's a tit for tat kind of thing. Quid pro quo. You do something for me, I'll do something for you, over and above what you're supposed to do. So you can hold a person hostage by the medical issue, and then the issue of physical neglect and abandonment. Does a person, and that's where you have to go meet and visit your family member, your senior family member. Physically look at them and see, bed sores. Does that mean they're not, all these things? It's just simple stuff, but it's very important. If they have bed sores, that's an indication that they're sleeping on unclean linen, and they're not moving around. Bed sores occur when you stay in one place, usually, physically.
Right.
You don't get to move around and things like that. And some people are infirmed that way, but you can put the person on their side, rotate their body around, that kind of stuff. So, and I'm not an expert, but those are the kinds of things. Then again, of course, verbal and psychological abuse, withholding food, withholding, family members may contact that family member by phone or by call, whatever, by whatever conveyance, but it's being withheld by this person. And that's being, they're keeping them from making contact with that family member. And again, like verbal abuse, threatening, profanity, all of those things. I don't need to explain to our audience.
No, I'm sure they get it.
Yeah, they get it. But the threats, that's part of the abuse, the psychological abuse, the threat of intimidation. And almost always it's to get something, either a sexual favor and or a financial favor or both. And it's also an issue of control. I'm controlling this person, that kind of thing.
Right.
So and then, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So let me just take a quick station break. If you're just tuning in, you're listening live to Seniors Matter with your host, Brenda Charles Edwards, on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your South Seattle community radio station. We're here on Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you know what's the best legacy we can give ourselves and our loved ones? Join me on Zoom for a group or individual session on legacy end-of-life planning. Now back to my guest, John Yasutake, advocate extraordinaire.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've been called worse, but that's another story. But Of
So,
course, fiscal.
John, how are we going to stop this?
Well,
Or, you know,
that's the thing. If individuals are within the system with DSHS, they can report, or family members can report issues. Like many seniors are on some sort of support, support through DSHS, Department of Social and Health Service. They have a specific unit that deals with vulnerable populations who are being abused. And part of it, they do investigations. They do face to face. They don't do it on the line. They don't do it over the phone. They actually go out and meet, go to the retirement homes, the senior citizens homes. They go to the homes where individuals are getting their services. They're actually going face to face, which I like, because you need to meet that person. And
well, yeah, you got to read the body language.
yes, exactly. And that's what I like about the fact that DSHS has a specific unit, statewide in different areas that deal with these issues. And again, many of these seniors get support through DSHS, food stamp, whatever, and so does the federal government. See, the Center for Disease Control is considered this almost epidemic with respect to exploitation, abuse of seniors. It's just like domestic violence. This is considered domestic violence as well. So we have a problem in this country. We have a problem, and we're a youth culture, and seniors are kind of, but at the same time, we take a very humane approach, how we take care of our seniors, our elders, and so it's almost like it's a dilemma, because we don't have all the resources that we need to support these seniors. When you think about it, these were individuals who worked, they paid their taxes, they retired. We need to take care of them. And again, when they're in situations where they're relying on the services of service providers, or family members for survival, to feed, to be eaten, all of the basic necessities, and to find out they're being abused and being taken advantage of. And that's, we're talking about exploitation. You talked about that issue involving your family member, getting into and using the equity and taking out the equity, which puts the property in jeopardy of being foreclosed on because the mortgage wasn't getting paid, that kind of thing. But exploitation is not only financial, but that's what happens. They take advantage of the seniors, get lines of credit, and that's the financial fraud piece. Seniors take care of their credit very well.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And
yes,
so,
absolutely.
so you're a senior member of my family, and I use your name to get a credit card, blah blah blah, or lines of credit, or a loan, all this kind of stuff. And that's the financial fraud piece. I may not be able to do it because of my credit or rating and all that stuff, but I can use your information. And if I have access to your mail, hey, guess what? I have total control, because it comes time for your debit or credit card to be renewed or whatever. Guess what comes in the mail? That card. Of course, you have to have the password and stuff, but because you trust me and I take care of you every day, you're going to trust me with that stuff. You got to be careful. Folks.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Make sure your loved ones don't share information that gives individuals who are specious access. So, it just, again, common sense stuff. But again, spend the time with that senior. Spend the time with that a senior adult. Get to know what's going on in their life. I mean, again, you got to you got to see them. You can't, like I said, make it a point. If you're in the neighborhood, drop by. You don't always have to be on call. They don't always have to be notified that you're coming. And
right. Not at all.
Best time to show up. That kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's it. And like I look at my family. Many of us come from cultures where senior members live at home. Will live at home and will end their life at home, in a home, not at a retirement community. I think that to me is again what we want to do for our family members. My family, everyone stays at home. You know,
Mhm.
they transition while they're at home. They don't. We don't want them in a rest home. We don't want them in a retirement home. We want to be there, but a lot of families don't have those resources to be able to stay with a senior and firm family member, an elder. They have to work and everything like that, and it's very expensive.
Yes, it is.
Expensive.
Yes,
And
it
so,
is.
so that's one of the things. So again, if we talk about what we can do for our vulnerable populations that we need to have to support, that's one of the things. Allow them to live with peace and dignity, you know, peace and dignity, and all of their needs are going to be covered. And like I said, we're not a perfect society, but I love the fact that there are government organs, CDC, they have
Mhm.
specific points of contact where you can go online, Center for Disease Control, Department of Social and Health Services. There are other AARP, which you are affiliated, and
Yes,
that those are our
yes.
resources. There are senior citizens groups and things like that. And so those are the things that we need to avail ourselves of and be knowledgeable about because we all can't do it ourselves. We need help and knowledge and information. And so that's it. And that's why I think it's important to do shows like this every once in a while, not just me, but, to highlight the fact that we have a senior population that's living longer. That's a large population. They paid their dues. We need to give
Right.
Yeah, they paid their taxes. They've done all the things. They built this country, all of that stuff, and we need to give them the respect. In the, as they say, the golden years, their golden years, and make their life as comfortable as possible. But we also be need to be on guard and protect them from the things physical abuse, sexual abuse, medical or physical neglect, abandonment, verbal and psychological abuse, exploitation, financial fraud, and anything else we can think of that's a very, very negative consequence for our seniors. And like you said, abandonment was an issue, just leaving them alone, that kind of thing. And let me
And
tell
the
you,
threat of that, it's always the threat,
yeah, yeah,
and that's the sad part because the elders know that they can't do something and they need this person. And so this person takes advantage by saying, well,
right,
if you won't do what I need, well, then I'm just going to leave you here to
yeah,
fend for yourself. And and they don't have a phone that they probably nearby that they could,
right,
use. And that's as a landline. And then a cell phone, they might
mhm,
not even know how to work one or
right,
own one.
right, or
So
a tablet or anything like that. Exactly. And so that's I guess in this technological age, we still have a population of individuals that they need to see you face to face. You need to meet with them face to face. You need to be in their presence. They need to be in your presence. And that's like I said, it's unfortunate. These are we're one of those countries in the world that doesn't revere elders. Other
yes,
countries in the world, elders are on the top of the list.
that is true. That is true,
Asian culture,
unfortunately.
African culture, Latino culture, Native American culture, they revere
Hmm.
their seniors, the elders, because of the
Yep.
the wisdom. And most people tell you, I'm not smarter than you. I'm just older. I've just been around longer. I've seen it, And that's the fact. My kids say, "Oh, Dad, you're so." No, I've been around longer than you. I've
Right.
seen it, heard it,
Yeah.
in some cases done it, but I won't
Yeah, I
talk
was gonna say
about
you've lived it.
Well, so yeah, and so did you when you were younger too. So those are the kinds of things, but we are learning. And like I said, I am so grateful for government agencies uh, that are
More and
looking
more are coming into the play of this,
right,
which is excellent.
and nonprofit organizations like AARP, which are very good. They always talk about. There's always some articles and stuff they talk about abuse and all these kinds, how to prevent fraud, how to do this, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
we give presentations to whatever organization wants to know more about elder abuse. We do. I've been a presenter.
yeah.
And it's just call them, and they will help you, and they will, like, if you're even if if you're an adult family home and you want more information, we'll go out to you, or we'll do it on Zoom, because we did a lot of that during the COVID too.
Yep. Well, and then just my experience, and we're going to be wrapping it up. When I was working for census, we realized that this population of seniors is not technologically connected like other populations are. So it really worked. And we did that presentation at Mount Zion with the individuals for the census. And the thing that's so interesting about seniors, they want to participate in the census. They believe in that kind of thing. Many of them are very supportive of those kinds of things. So we need to be able to build. Yeah.
Not only are they supportive of that, but they were high numbers in voting.
Yeah, exactly.
They always are, because they know and understand the importance of voting, regardless of who you vote for.
Right, exactly. And so that's why we need to give them deference and give them the respect that they're due. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we, Brenda and I, would ask you to check and look at the information that's out there about the level of senior abuse and how we can eradicate it and how we can prevent it. And it's important. It's just, like I said, it's so disrespectful to the people who have given their lives to support this great nation, our society, the great society that they've sacrificed and done for us. And we need to give them, like I said, the deference and the respect that they're due. And we need to make sure that they don't suffer and are victims of any form of abuse. And that's it. And I'll stop preaching.
Well, that's okay, because we're going to wrap this up. And I just want to say that every June 15th is recognized as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And John might be back with me then, and we'll have more information. But for now, I just want to let you know that today is the last day of my show for the holidays. I think my next show will be December 20th. So you can always go to the website, www.rainieravenueradio.world, to check out the schedules. Same thing for John's show, Seattle Here and Now. But what did I say? Yeah, Daniel put a message in. He says, actually, you're off until December 20th. Okay. So that's good. I'll take that break. And I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And John, same thing. Happy Thanksgiving to your family. And we'll see you later. Oh, and shout out to Pamela Yasutake for choreographing the, what's the name of the play real quick, John?
Mary Poppins.
Thank you. All right, you guys, have a blessed weekend and live your life like it's golden.
All right.
See you, John. Take care.
Bye, everybody.